Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All You Can Geek Gamecast episode 703. I'm your host, Jim Guest, joined by Mike Sneedy,
What's up?
Corey Feinside,
Ahoy.
and Tony Korkanakis.
Hey, hey, hey.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, listeners and viewers. We're live right now on Twitch, Tuesday nights, starting at 8 o'clock. You can join these broadcasts live. Find us on the Twitch app or subscribe. That way you know when we go live. If you do miss these live broadcasts, we are over on YouTube for all the content. So like if you go over there, subscribe to that channel, hit the notification button, you'll get notified when we post these episodes the following day, and you can go back and check our backlog of stuff if you ever want to see what we talked about previously. So this is our 703rd episode of the Gamecast, folks. I was out last week. I apologize, but I didn't have much to discuss anyways at that point. I was working on housework like crazy, but I did. To kick us off here, I did finally finish Spider-Man 2, so that's done, and it was it was a good game. I feel like I could talk freely about it at this point.
As soon as you're finished that game, this is the opinion. While you're in it, you're like, "Oh, this is great. I love it."
Yes.
And then once it's done, you're like, "Yeah, it was good."
It was good.
On to the
That's exactly what happens. I was like, yeah. I mean, it was. I thought back about it. I'm like, I don't have any desire to go back to that. I don't have any desire to go back to it. So that's just me, I guess. But I mean, it was fine. There's nothing wrong with the game. It was good. Venom is. I'm gonna maybe go back if they bring the Venom expansion out. But I didn't really like. I thought Venom was a great character. You guys know. I could talk about this freely. You think at this point or
it's
not?
been almost a year.
My biggest gripe with this game was the Venoms spawns of all the people. But I understand they had to make somebody for you to fight in this game. So I get that part of it. But I didn't like the Venom minions. I just didn't like that part.
It was annoying and like, God, I had to think
Took
back
it to
about
a
this.
different sort of level. Really, it felt like a different type of game at that point.
Yes, yeah.
A big issue for me was just the fact that and I complained about it when I was playing it, but like you're fighting a boss, right? And I love boss fights, right? And that was one of the things that I liked better about it versus like the Arkham games or something like that. But like they drop the ball when it's like you have a cutscene of like, oh, something's happening. And it's like, oh, this is phase 2 of the boss fight, and there's like nothing new, and it's like, so I'm just fighting him again, and like maybe one thing changed, and like that's not
barely. It's mostly the same exact routine. Yes, I got that vibe entirely.
And I think the female symbiote that you fight, I think it's like 3 phases maybe.
There's 3, yeah.
And I was just like,
Venom's 4. She's 3.
I was just like, what the fuck are we doing here? Like it's not
Venom's
fun.
Venom's 4th phase. I'm like, can we just? It's the same pattern. My biggest gripe with this game is the camera's not fast enough to keep up to the parry. So there was times I would get smashed bad because the camera wasn't quick enough for me to even see the outline of what the characters were doing, like the yellow or the red. And I'd miss the clicking. I guess there's a click thing, but you don't know if that's the blue or the red one to dodge or parry until you see it, and it's just too late. The camera wasn't fast enough in some points.
And that's why, again, my big problem with this is if there's something that's parryable, you should also be able to dodge it. I mean, obviously not get the advantage.
You wouldn't be able to strike him yet, but yes, I get it. Yeah, but you should be able to dodge it.
Get hit. It doesn't make sense
Well,
logically.
the game does tell you could jump backwards, but it never worked. It always got hit anyways when I did that.
Yeah, well, I think the symbiote people were just like reskins of the other people. Like they all had the same attack patterns as far as like the Craven Hunter.
Just the enemy variety was kind of poor.
Yeah,
especially for.
But I mean, it's a lot of things to like be disappointed about because there's a lot of like good things about it, but there wasn't that jump, and that's what we talked about.
That's what it is. Like I'm not saying it's a bad game. It's a good game. It's a great game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's just when you look at like Spider-Man, you're going from nothing to, oh my god, this is a great Spider-Man game, and it's like, oh, with the sequel after 4 or 5 years and a whole new system, right? It's like, oh, like
that's. Yeah, it's like my biggest concern for Wolverine is that we've got the system now, and it'll be the 3rd one in that kind of system. And is it going to be the similar idea, like with the enemies, the same exact type? You know what I mean? Like, is it going to be repetitive fast? Because you're getting the more and more games you get into, like Arkham, for instance, it got more repetitive. You know what I'm saying? Because you were used to the
and that was my biggest issue with, I think. Night, when like basically you just had so many gadgets and so many enemy types where like you had to memorize the 2-button combo to be like, oh, I need this gadget to take out this type of enemy specifically. Oh, it's the regular dude with a knife, regular dude with a baton, like a brute type guy, the guys with the shields. I'm just like, this is just fucking Simon
Just break
Says.
their
Like,
weapons, man.
Yeah.
No,
sure,
break their
yeah,
weapons.
absolutely, but it's too much. It's just like whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, the
No,
game's
I
very
think
easy without that. But
I mean, again,
I
I'm
feel
not
like
saying it's
this had a
hard. I'm just
different
saying it's not fun either. It's like cool. I'm pressing this button combo to take out this enemy. Like cool, whoop de doo.
yeah. No, the game did a very good job of getting me to play Miles and enjoy his character and say, "Wow, this is probably the
all
better
time.
character to play," and then give me back Peter Parker as like the symbiote and really love that character more. And I'm like, I don't want to go back to Miles again at this point. But the game started off like I really want to just play Miles in the beginning, and I'm like, oh well, no, this is because he's kind of fresh. And
Yeah.
then when Peter Parker gets the symbiote stuff, and even later in the game, obviously, I just wanted to play as Peter Parker. Like the moves he had were way better. But
I feel
that's
like
just me.
I feel like that was actually a disappointment to me, both when you play as symbiote Spider-Man and
Yeah,
another
but-
symbiote character, where it just
Yeah.
didn't feel unique enough. I'm just like, it's like too similar almost. Where I'm just like, all right, like to me, symbiote Spider-Man should just be fucking up everything, right? And it's like outside of like the L3R3 like special or whatever. I think that's how you activate it, right? I forget off the top.
One of those things.
Yeah, L3R3, yeah, the big
Yeah.
explosion thing, which
Yeah,
I
so
forgot to activate. I don't know how many times I forgot to activate that thing.
Right. It's
But
like
yeah.
outside of that, like it didn't seem like it played uniquely enough for my preference and stuff like that.
Yeah, and the bonus missions were just all the same from the first game, really. I just didn't get the vibe from
Yeah.
that, but it was a good game. I installed FF7 and played like 20 minutes of it just earlier today, so I haven't gotten
Is
too
that
much.
even
But
a cutscene?
yeah,
Is
no,
it?
I got through. Well, no, I'm in the flashbacks. I'm in the
Yeah,
flashbacks
yeah,
right
yeah.
now. Yeah. So, but it's looks so incredible.
Yeah,
Like
it does.
it's so incredible. So I can't wait to get into this. Next week I'll talk more about it. But that's it for me. Tony?
Cool.
Nothing really new. Just Final Fantasy 14, and I think I mentioned a couple weeks ago. Downloaded this new game, Boomerang Fu. It's a local co-op, or not local.
Yeah.
It's local multiplayer competitive, where you play as pieces of food that are animated, and you have a boomerang, and you either throw or slash them like a sword. And it sounds stupid, and it is stupid, but it's really fun. But anyway, they came out with a DLC update, so I bought the full game and tried that out with some of the Eastern crew, and lots of hijinks and lots of just classic like Bomberman type moments where you're just like, what the hell just happened? And just like somebody just got a triple kill. It's like, oh, cool, like, nice, good job, bro.
Cool.
But yeah, Elden Ring will be next week.
Yeah.
Coming up pretty soon.
Rave reviews.
Got to defend the title.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna come out of retirement, and then I realized that my save is on my Xbox. So coming out of retirement means I have to start all over.
Ooh.
To be honest, that might not be a bad thing, because like, it's been like 2 years, so I'm like, do I remember what my build is like? Like, I don't even, whatever.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Maybe because the dynamics have changed too. Like the meta has changed in the game, so like the blood build is not nearly as.
Oh no, Fred.
Yeah, I know.
No, it is not.
So I was all blood. I'd love to see what I could do as that character now, though. Like that's only. I'm like, I wish I still had that character, but I do miss
Too bad
that
they don't
character.
have like that cross save compatibility.
Yeah, I wish they would do that. But in the future, as more and more companies go to third party. Okay, Mike, what have you been playing?
Been playing more Hogwarts Legacy, and it's funny we mentioned Arkham.
Pick that up
because one of the things I like about that game is the like exploration reminds me a little of that, like how every like little thing you find has a little bit of lore based on the universe, and you get experience for it, and a lot of them are little puzzles. It's a little bit like the Riddler trophies and stuff like that, and the environments are pretty dense and interesting. The actual gameplay is pretty brain dead, I think, but I am playing on easy due to Ashley's request of not seeing me like lose ever.
Wow.
But
sounds like somebody that doesn't believe in an Elden Lord.
Well, I don't know. But then the other thing I played, I did all the Night Springs DLC for Alan Wake 2.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, it's short, as people have said. There's 3 episodes. They each sort of act as their own little what ifs, but the way the world is constructed, what ifs don't necessarily mean they don't count as canon per se. Just as everything is crazy like that. And first two are pretty good. They are the first one plays Rose, which is funny. Rose is a minor character who's like a fangirl of Alan Wake, like the character in the game, and you basically do. It's more actiony. The second one is the one with Jesse Faden from Control. I guess it's sort of a prequel to Control, or just like a what if scenario. Um, Pretty interesting. You're in the coffee world there, but yeah, you don't have powers. You just go around shooting, like in base Alan Wake 2. And then the third one is the most interesting one, called Timebreaker. In this, you play. There's Tim Breaker, the sheriff in the game, who gets like spirited away by Warlin Door. And you should know this a little bit, Jim, because Quantum Break tie-ins are very apparent here. Because in this, you are actually playing as Sean Ashmore, being directed by Sam Lake to play in a new video game where there's multiverses, but then you get zapped away by probably Warlin. And Adore is a port. Do you know some character named Port or something from Quantum
It's been
Break?
a while. Dude, I don't remember. That game's been so long ago.
But by the end of it, we get some real trippy meta, like even like video game, like you get
that
some
game. Quantum Break was like.
thing.
I'm not sure what's
happening.
happening.
Quantum Break even available anymore?
I think it's on Game Pass.
I don't know. I'm looking it up right now.
It was recently, at least.
Yeah, it should still be there. Yeah.
I just remember that being hyped as the next big thing.
Well, that was the Xbox One. Like, this is our exclusive. Like, they had a deal.
Wasn't
it
was
like our TV show?
Or something like that?
Well, the TV show was in the game.
The TV show was in the game, so you would stop playing the game and have to watch an episode of the show.
That sounds so fun.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So I mean, it was fine, but I'm like, I just want to play a video game right now. That's, that's it.
Yeah. So the end of that, nothing like that, but there is more video gamey like nonsense and very interesting stuff and implications for the Remedyverse. Pretty interesting. So it's not long, but I'm glad I played it. And also before I played that, I replayed my final draft playthrough, and actually I platinumed the base game of Alan Wake 2. I found all of the collectibles, which nice little bonus. So
cool.
Yeah, I'm ready for the Lake House, which is probably going to be like next year, but whatever.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Corey.
Just been in Final Fantasy. I think I'm at the end of chapter 10.
Ooh, getting close.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What is that? That's not Cosmo, right?
Well, I was at.
Or no?
I was at a. I think I was at a bonfire, and I had to encourage Aerith about something.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That was a good one.
Yeah. So yeah, cool. But yeah, we'll talk more about it. Sure, when Jim gets into it. So.
Yeah, I'll be moving on along in that shortly. I'm starting that up tomorrow. So.
What characters?
Yeah, I just didn't have too much time.
What characters are you using mostly?
Me? Oh, Tifa. Cloud. Like Tifa's my main one, and then Cloud, and then the girl. It's the ninja girl. Yuffie. Yeah.
They're so fun to play. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's nice that you can just swap, like instantly swap between the different characters. So it's nice. But yeah, it's been fun. Just different, and they're quite different, like different styles.
Absolutely.
Sometimes I forget. I'm like, oh shoot, who am I on right now? It's like, oh, I got to do this.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
All right. Let's get into some news. We've got a couple things happening. Well, the big thing this week was Nintendo Direct, which we'll get into shortly. But we did have a mention from Jason Schreier confirming Final Fantasy Tactics Remaster is real and happening at Square Enix, which is quite exciting. Like, that is, can't wait exciting. Especially after getting into Final Fantasy VII and what they've done for their remakes. I can't wait. Who knows how far away it is.
Right.
But It's exciting though to hear that
It'd be
it's
interesting to see if they do like a big like overhaul as far as the story and things like that with like adding things and making you expanding on what the story was told before. 'Cause-
Yeah, so there was an interesting interview I think with Matsuno a little while ago, where he originally said that his plan initially was to have different routes for
Mhm.
both Ramza and Delita, and then they would converge at the end and stuff like that. So that'd be cool if they managed and you could see some of those missions through the main story. There were a couple with Delita focused on them and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So it'd be interesting if
Oh, yeah,
maybe
it'd be
they
neat.
revisited that. As kind
Yeah,
of
the
Yeah.
original.
content.
Yeah, exactly. But the original vision of the director
yeah.
and stuff.
So, well, I mean, we're gonna get into some remakes, I think, shortly here also with
Lots of
Square.
remakes. Yep.
Square. So yeah, the Nintendo Direct happened today. No mention, obviously, they even put this out beforehand of Switch 2. So
Yeah.
the Switch.
They set the
Switch
expectations.
successor.
They're like, do not
Yeah.
fucking think about the successor.
Yeah.
Do
There
not,
will be no
do not
mention,
perceive
yeah.
it.
But overall, I thought it was a pretty damn good show for the fall of this year, especially because the fall seems like it's going to be pretty empty. So at least this is a prime for the taking for Nintendo, and I feel like I'm happy to see what's coming. For me, I might just skip around here, just knowing what because I had just watched it freshly. But Mario and Luigi was the one they kicked off the show with, and I actually haven't played a Mario and Luigi game. I don't think I played any of them. I'm trying to think. I think I may have tried it. Somebody had it, but I don't think I ever played the game. So I'll probably be picking that up because that's a 2-player game, right? You can play or no, single player. Okay.
I mean, you could probably hold one controller with 2 people and
Yeah, I
tell
remember
somebody
this-
you only hit this button and I only
use
hit
these
this
buttons and then yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it seems like an interesting game, teamwork based game with Luigi, and so I'll be checking that out. When is that coming? I gotta open this article up while I'm talking. So I did not open the article.
Forget if there was a date. I can't.
Was that November 7th? No, that wasn't November 7th. One of them was November 7th because it was my stepdaughter's birthday. She was like, "I'm getting this game." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay."
It's really cool just because
Yeah, November 7th. That's
yeah.
the one. Yeah.
In 1 year, we've gotten Mario RPG remake. We've gotten the Paper Mario 1000 Year
Yeah.
remaster, and then a brand new version of Mario Luigi. So in 1 year, we've got all the various Mario RPG things, which is pretty cool because it's people are like, oh, Nintendo, forgets about some of their franchises and stuff like that. And it's like, well, yeah. Sometimes.
Yeah. Let's see. Moving into let's stick with Mario. So they also announced Super Mario Party Jamboree, coming to Switch October 17th of this year, with 2 boards brought over from previous games, which is cool. Mario Party 1 and 2. Is it the Rainbow Road Bridge board game? I can't remember which one they brought, but 5 new game boards in the game and over 110 mini games. So Koopathlon mode, which supports over 20 players at the same time, which is interesting to try to online. Yeah, obviously online. Sorry, no, I meant to say I should have not said obviously. I should have said that's online. But yeah, it looked pretty good that for Mario Party. I mean, it's been a little while since we had one.
Mario Party games are always fun. The thing with me is the last one, which is Superstars, was really good because it was kind of like a best of, of all the early Mario Party games, with the best boards, the best mini games, and then they just never did DLC for it, and it's just Mario Party is one of those games where it's DLC should be the easiest thing in the world.
Right, it's primed for it.
It's primed for it. And they never did it. And then they're like, hey, here's Mario Party 1 and 2 courses for this. I'm like, why didn't you give us those? Because that was the biggest criticism. Because I think there's only 5 boards in the last one. It's that's the easiest thing in the world is to be like, hey, here's 2 more courses, levels. Sweet. The kind of one thing I don't like is that this one seems to be bringing back the Joy-Con controls, where it's more of the motion based and stuff like that. Because I'm not big into that. I just prefer hey, you have a joystick and you have buttons, and press those. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Do you guys? I mean, if you're into Animal Crossing, I think they've got a couple games coming that are very similar to Animal Crossing. I don't know if it's all this year, but I'm scrolling through
What
right
was the
now
Hobbit
to
one?
the Hobbit game. I didn't even know was like Animal Crossing at first, but that's coming. I don't think there's a release date for that
No.
yet. So there's Tales of the Shire, a Lord of the Rings game. Lets you. It's basically a Hobbit life. You garden, fish, cook, build relationships. Sounds familiar, right? Solve problems, build your home. That is Animal Crossing. Is Hello Kitty Island Adventure like Animal Crossing? Because it looked like it.
Probably. I mean, again,
It
when you
sounds
come
like
out and
it.
you sell like
Mhm.
20 million copies or 30, whatever it's up to, like other people are going to take notice and be like, we can do that. I mean, even Disney
Yeah.
fucking
Mhm.
did that with Dreamlight or Dream Valley or whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah, and there was one more they showed too that was like that. It was Farmisia, the monster combat game. Looks like a very mix. Not full on. It's got combat obviously, but it has the whole build your like you can farm and
Yeah.
grow things and yeah. So, but interesting they had all three of those. But yeah, let's go through some of these games here. Stray's finally coming to Switch. That looked coming this holiday. So if you haven't played Stray yet, which is the cat game, it'll be out there. Um, the game of the broadcast for my stepdaughter was Looney Tunes Wacky World of Sports. Looks like Looney Tunes is getting a basketball game, so I have to mention that. Looked something, whatever.
Oh, yeah,
She's
I
very
think you
excited
did
for that game.
remember saying she likes Looney Tunes. I'm like,
She's a big Looney. She was totally into the sports game, the basketball add-on. She wants to get the Switch Sports now, but because she's kind of into basketball. But I was like, okay. And then they came on with right after that was the Looney Tunes one, and I was like, then she was like hooked on that. So that's 100%. She wants to buy that immediately. But yeah, so they had the Switch Sports update, which is free, right? The basketball game that's coming. Is that available right away, or is that
says this summer, I thought.
in summer? They didn't have a date for the Looney Tunes game either, but they did say it was. I thought it was fall of this year. So I think they said fall. Darkest Dungeon 2 coming out next month. Which is a roguelike game.
Yeah, indie roguelike. First one was really popular. So
Let's see, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD is obviously coming out. We know that one. Just June 27th. There's a free update for Disney Illusion Island, Mystery in the Monoth. And then let's get into some actual ones. Yeah, let's get into some actual ones here. Let's kick it off with. Yeah, let's go Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. Let's just go with it right off the bat. This was the game for me. I was smiling seeing this collection of stuff put together. So it's coming end of this year, right? End of this year, 2020, later 2024. It's a collection of the classic arcade games, Marvel vs. Capcom. How do they do this? I don't even know how they got this together on a play. To play this? So X-Men: Children of the Atom, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, X-Men vs. Capcom. Marvel vs. Capcom. Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes, and The Punisher, which is a weird throw in here for side scroller beat 'em up. But a lot of fighting games, a lot of classic fighting games. Great pack.
Yeah.
Right?
For those who know these other games, because I only play Marvel vs. Capcom 2, is there any reason to not just play Marvel vs. Capcom 2?
Yeah, it's different.
Of all
Yeah,
of these games?
absolutely. Different characters, a little bit different fighting systems.
Are there different characters?
Yeah,
I don't.
you get some different characters. Yeah, Children of the Atom has different characters.
I want to say all the characters from all those games made it into MVC2. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I feel like
I don't think so. I want to double check this. I don't think so.
Because
Like
even like the obscure picks, like Shumagora is in that.
Oh, that's right. It did make it in that. Yeah.
Silver
I
Samurai
don't
is
know.
in there. Psylocke, Thanos.
So you're also talking like different fighting systems though, Mike. So you're
Yeah,
getting
that's the
into
thing.
different.
I mean, so there's
it's like playing.
Yeah,
It's like playing Alpha 1, Alpha 2, Alpha 3 of Street Fighter. They're like different games.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I mean, like the thing is, like it's mostly about like when I say story mode, it's mainly arcade. You just go through it. There's like an ending or something. The last bosses are different, like depending on which game you're fighting.
Like,
Yeah.
But it's
Mike,
mostly
I'll speak in your terms. Yeah, MK1, MK2, MK3. Were they the same game? Would you go back and play MK2 or MK3?
I feel like those.
It's the same idea.
Way different though.
It's the same idea. It's the same idea.
I don't know.
I-
If I play these older games in the arcade, I feel like everyone has the same moves and it's kind of the same shit. But
No.
whatever your opinion of that is, it's exactly the same thing.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up. I was like, that's the perfect example. That's the better example of why.
If you think MK2 invalidates MK1, then okay, yes, absolutely, same thing applies here.
it does.
Okay, then that's
MK1's
your answer. Then that
terrible.
is your answer.
then But MK2 and MK3 are completely different games.
Oh, the roster is what make the games different.
Gameplay doesn't though.
What
Which,
about
okay, I was saying
about
gameplay.
Mortal Kombat 3 Ultimate?
That's probably, I don't know. That's more.
That's it. I'm telling you, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like I didn't like
I
MK3
know.
base
So-
because it didn't have some of the characters I liked in it, and then MK3 Ultimate came out, and it's like, okay, now I'm into this.
So I'm just trying to see, like, because Marvel vs. Capcom 2 exists and it seems to be all encompassing and the newest one with the most evolved form, I would assume, of the mechanics.
I mean,
just
you could
wonder
say
how
that, but at the same
necessary all
time,
the
so
other
like
ones are.
MVC1 was only 2v2, and it had a tag team, like assist character that just came out and performed a move that wasn't a fighter. MVC2 got rid of that and added in a third playable character. So, I mean, while most people are really into that, some people did think that it was less strategic in the sense that you lost out on that. And it's a lot faster, too. Like, seeing
Speed-wise,
MVC1
different.
and MVC2, it's like night and day.
Yep.
Very fast.
The timing's completely different for combos. Like if you go back, it's like playing Street Fighter 2. Like oh yeah, I gotta flip this, then I can punch, but I can't just jump and punch like I can before. It's just different styles, different systems.
Yeah, and I think they got rid of that's when Capcom got rid of the medium, because it used to be light, medium,
That's
and
right.
heavy, and
There was
they got
just
rid
two
of that
punches.
because they only
Yeah,
had
yeah.
6 buttons to work with, and
Yep.
2 of the buttons were dedicated for the assists. So, yeah, on paper or visually, you're gonna be like, yeah, this looks the same, but technically, yeah, there are differences.
All right, Tony, any classic stuff you want to talk about here? What are you excited for from the classic announcements?
Classics. What are you talking about?
Yeah, like the Switch Online, the Switch Online packs, like Perfect Dark.
Oh
is
yeah,
coming.
I mean that's cool. You know, I was actually wondering because I was talking to a buddy about the new Perfect Dark that we were talking about with the Xbox thing, and I was like, I wonder now that like Rare and Nintendo, Microsoft, and Nintendo are like buddy with GoldenEye. I was like, I wonder if there's a possibility that we see Perfect Dark, right? So it was kind of poetic that it showed up, but yeah, I mean it's cool. Turok one, like that's more of
Turok.
like a.
They
I'm
make
not
you
gonna
buy
say it's a
download
great game, but like, yeah, it's
download a different app, right, for M-rated.
yeah. So
Nostalgia purposes,
yes.
it's there, but it's like,
yeah.
we're
So
not
that's the
good.
one interesting thing is they make you download a separate
M-rated
M-rated app version of the N64. But it's kind of weird because like when you load it up, it's just there's only Turok and Perfect Dark. I'm just like, couldn't it just be like all the games?
So
you can
Conker's
have-
coming. Conker's coming. There's no doubt.
Conker's definitely probably going to come.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what other M-rated games there are on the 64.
I'm trying to remember back. Killer Instinct, was that M-rated?
No, that wasn't. I don't think so. I could be wrong, but
Yeah.
I don't remember there being anything.
It wasn't like bloody, gory.
Yeah, it wasn't
gory.
bloody or anything like that.
It was fake blood, yeah.
Maybe
So-
we'll see a Mortal Kombat game on there.
Yeah, but they got A Link to the Past 4 Swords. Metroid Zero Mission was cool to bring.
Yeah, those games are excellent.
The Nintendo World Championships game.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that because it's mostly
Same
like
here.
a speedrun thing. I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Let's talk about Sony's first game on another system. Well, it's not their own game, but Sony licensed character. So Lego Horizon Adventure is coming to Switch. We mentioned it, I think last week or 2 weeks ago. Coming this holiday, you get to play as a PlayStation. At PlayStation Studios, the PlayStation Studios logo was on the cover on the title. I thought it was pretty funny to see that finally on a system.
Yeah.
So, multi-platform. There it is.
Yeah.
Lego Horizon. It's
Yeah,
not
it's-
coming to the Xbox.
Yeah, it's that's the other thing. It's kind of funny. Is like they're like, oh, we want to. You know, they did an interview with a guy from, I think, what's the studio? Guerrilla Games, and he's like, yeah,
Brilliant. Yeah.
like we want to like, you know, make titles that are and maximize the potential. And it's like, oh, so Switch is that, but Xbox isn't. Like, interesting, very interesting. You know.
Also
But the-
PC.
Yeah. But then also somebody was like, "Oh, does this mean we could see Aloy in Smash Brothers?" He's like, "If they want her, they can absolutely." And it's just like
No.
that would be
Interesting.
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 But Lego
Very
Alloy
interesting.
specifically.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Lego.
Well, it is funny how, you know, the total difference. I think it's still Ashley Birch, but she's just, it's so different hearing her be like happy and quippy and stuff like as the Lego version because she's
Yeah,
kind
she's
of a
not
wet
that in
blanket.
Yeah.
In
I'm all for
the
it. 'Cause, like,
Horizon game.
I get why she was like that in the original game, but I'm like, you know, I don't really need, you know, the Sony formula. Everybody's sad and whatever. It's like, cool, eat a hot dog, Aloy. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Donkey Kong Country Returns HD is a remake from, well,
The
it
Wii.
includes from the Wii, but also includes the 3DS version stages. So 80 levels, 2-player local co-op, coming January 16, 2025. Game looks really good. What they did on the
Yeah,
remake.
it looks nice.
So
It's just it's end of life is the last year of like the Switch
the remakes,
exclusive
yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah.
ports and remasters are easy.
Well, I mean, the next remake is the one I thought was incredible looking, and I was like, why is not incredible looking, but looks amazing for what that's coming from. So Dragon Quest 3 HD
Oh yeah.
2D remake was the next game I wanted to talk about, because that game I don't know the Dragon Quest story for those wondering, but I do know the artwork and I love it. So I was like, why are they starting with 3? And I'm like so happy that they had its creator, I guess, come and talk to why he's starting with 3, because that's really where the story begins for this character. Because they're gonna make 1 and 2, which coming next year.
Yeah, I mean, so like, kind of like Final Fantasy, the first couple games were just more of like a, hey, this is an RPG, and the kind of like basic fantasy, like whatever story, and like in both, it's like 3 and 4, where like they respectively like kicked off like maybe we should have like a deeper narrative with a specific type of character like involved and stuff like that. So, I think it's one of the more beloved ones of that generation and stuff like that. So. They chose that to start with, and they expanded that project to include the first 2 games. So that's really cool. I'm excited to try it out.
I'm excited to try it. Yeah.
Yeah, those games have
November
gotten
14th.
pretty rare actually, because I think they remade most of them on DS and 3DS or something like that. But then, because they're out of print and stuff like that, they're just super expensive. So
Erdrick, his name is the trilogy. Erdrick trilogy. Yeah. So. One of the most intriguing games, and I can't believe it's one of those games where I'm like, they're gonna try to do it. Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom was announced, with Zelda as the protagonist, coming September 26th of this year, which is impressive.
Isn't Zelda always the protagonist?
The main protagonist. Well, the main character.
Playable character.
Oh, I got you. I got your joke. I missed the layup. Yeah. Yes. So, it's the princess, just so you guys know. But yes, so Zelda is the character you'll be playing as Link has been whisked away to this weird world. But from what I'm getting from this, and let me know if I'm seeing this right, Tony, they're attempting a top-down Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I mean, that was
That's what I'm getting here. That's what I'm getting.
That was my take on it, because like she's like, you got the Rod of Echoes, I think, or the
Not Breath
Trinity,
of the Wild.
or whatever they call it.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, how's this gonna work? And like she can copy objects, but also monsters, and like summon them and stuff like that. And it was kind of a weird first example. It's like, cool, you got the
it was like,
echo of a table, and it's like, what the fuck are you gonna do with this? And it's like, kind of just to show you, it's like, oh, you place a table, and you can jump on the table, and you turn around and put a table down, and then you put another table on that table, and then you jump on that one, and you turn around, and table.
She
and it's like
beds as stairs.
Yeah, she makes a stair of tables. Like, what?
Breath of the Wild's wrong. Tears of the Kingdom is what I meant to say. Tears of the Kingdom is more precise. Yeah.
So that was interesting, and you could definitely see like they're going more for that like creative expressionism is what I would think. Where it's like they even said like, hey, there's going to be solutions to all these things that we didn't even think about.
That's what I think they're going for. Yeah, which is unbelievable.
Yeah, which is what Tears like really excelled at with.
Tears, yeah.
Even these days, like you just watch these like videos where it's like, oh, I'm gonna do this thing. And it's like, what the fuck did you just do, man? Like, I saw some crazy death contraption where just like, basically a mech, and you're like, how did you even do that? Like, okay, sure, but.
Yep. You can basically summon monsters with the staff as well to create and each monster has strengths and weaknesses for your scenario, but you can also just use the environment stuff you've scanned to just fight. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this works.
I really like
coming
that
September. It's crazy.
I mean, it's only 3 months away, but I like that they're using the Link's Awakening engine. Because I really like that game to begin with, but the remake was pretty good, and I was like, it'd be a shame if they didn't reuse this. And like we talked about, it was probably going to be the Oracle games, but I'm happy we get an original title instead of just another port.
You're eating well if you're a Switch owner.
I mean, it's crazy. It really is. It is crazy that this is like, you're like, oh, this is like the last year basically, and you're still getting Mario titles, you're getting Zelda titles and stuff like that. So
all the legacy stuff.
Yeah, and
And
then
other big stuff.
I mean, there's nothing else, right, Tony?
Well,
Another game coming,
Well,
right?
before we get to that, the one that I am excited for is the Fantasian title.
Oh, okay.
Because that's made by the father of Final Fantasy, Sakaguchi. So when he
I
left
didn't know
Square
that.
Enix,
Okay.
he created his own studio called Mist Studios, I think, or something like that. And he created an original fantasy RPG that was for, I think, iPhone or something.
It was mobile based.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was mobile based,
yeah.
and like I can't game on mobile like that. Or so I was just like, and it got really good reviews and was really well received. But I'm just like, I can't game on an iPhone like that personally. I just can't.
Coming holiday.
Yeah, so
it's
it's being unshackled from the hells of mobile and being ported to Switch and the other systems. So that's always good to see.
Yeah, and then that's it.
Yep, totally.
No bets are going to be won next year. Nothing.
Our decade-long bet, basically. Oh, God.
So yeah, Metroid Prime 4. It was funny because like I had already figured this out when I was watching the video. I already knew it was happening because obviously Tony linked it. But yeah, I mean, it's not. There's no date for 2025, but there is gameplay, so that's further along now than I expected. So you are way ahead of our bet with my Beyond Good and Evil 2, who have yet to show a single slice of the game for like what
years?
6 years now. 6 years now,
Yeah.
probably. So yeah, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, it's called, coming next year. Yeah, looks good. Looks really good. So interesting.
Yeah, actually, and I might be the minority here. I'll say it looks good, but at the same time, I was like, the first like 20 seconds they show of gameplay, I was just like, okay. I mean, it's kind of like what I expect out of Metroid Prime. So like, it wasn't like a razzle dazzle. It wasn't like a
Where's the twist?
right. Because
Yeah.
like you don't just make Metroid Prime 4 and it's like, yeah, it's kind of like the other ones, right? There's got to be some gimmick or whatever. And I was just waiting for it. And I know they're gonna wait a little longer to show us more meaty gameplay. But the thing that was interesting to me was the last segment where she's walking to like a forest, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, I did notice that.
And
yeah,
it did the wide panning shot of like some huge like tree, kind of like Yggdrasil or something like that of mythology and stuff like that. So I was like, now that has me intrigued and stuff like that. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
I do think the 2025 date just points more to a cross-gen release with Switch 2, and they're waiting to show that version. That's going to have more bells and whistles and all that. 4K, 60 FPS.
I think so. Yeah.
Blah blah blah.
I've got my credit waiting for that.
Yeah.
So, but I traded my Xbox in and I left the credit on the card. So I used, I bought the PS5. So I'm waiting for the Switch 2 pre-orders. That's pretty much what it's for.
Yep.
Xbox is turning into the Switch 2.
I mean, what can you say? Like, there was last week. I think there was. You could get a refurbed Xbox Series X.
I saw it for 202.
202 or something. I was even looking. I was like, what would I do with it though? Like, I talked myself out of it. What am I going to do with this? Nothing.
I will say it did cross my mind, but I'm like, no, no, not right now. Like in like a year, if I see that again, I might pick that up in a year. Who knows?
Like,
but
nah, I can't do this.
It's like nothing on. Like what do you? Nothing.
That's
No,
exactly
like,
it. I was like, what am I going to play on this? Nothing.
Like again, anything I want to play, I play on the Steam Deck with the Xbox Cloud Gaming. Like, and everything's there. So it's like, why not just? And it runs great. Like, it runs fantastic on the Steam Deck because it's just streaming to it. So, like, it's great. I will just play it there, and I can always plug it into my TV that way and just play it on that. You know what I'm saying? So I still basically have an Xbox in my house, just not a console. So I can play any games I want on there, and not to mention, it doesn't matter because most of them come to PS5 anyways. So we're okay. We're okay.
We're okay. Kids are okay.
Yeah, we'll be fine. All right. I think that's going to be it for this episode, folks. I don't think there's anything else. We mostly just the direct this week. So stay tuned, though. Coming up next week, we'll see what we got for the news. It's summer. Maybe we'll get some more fun stuff to talk about.
No, that's it. E3 season's over. We had a whole month of it.
We did. We had a long time. We did. But I will give my impression.
See, like, I'm just going to say, like, I think this is better, right? Because we had weeks in a row of, like, we had Sony, we had Summer Game Fest, we had Xbox, and now we had Nintendo. I like that better. Like, we had it stretched across 3 to 4 weeks.
We didn't have to have like
1 weekend.
3-hour episode. Yeah,
right?
We had a 3-hour episode of Gamecast. Yeah, I remember that. So yeah, we used to do that all the time. Now we just spread it across multiple episodes. So cool. All right, that's gonna wrap it up, folks. Thanks for tuning in once again. Tune in live on Twitch Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock. If not, over on YouTube, subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, give us a little like and our comment. We'll see you guys. We are out.